a segue that comes from the conversation you just had. Peachtree City's been a planned community for a long time. Very careful planning for all these mayors. And then we plan our things, and then this is a question from Coweta Commission. You know you don't have the infrastructure, but you go and you approve a mega project, even though you don't have the infrastructure. And then that begs the question, the reaction from the ARC, does the ARC have the authority, and there is a trial, I understand, on July 16th, I guess, is when it's going to be settled. Does it then have the power to basically make Peachtree City, in this case, and it doesn't matter what city, it's the process that I'm concerned about, to in fact say, well, Coweta approved this development without having their infrastructure ready, and we know that's a problem, but Peachtree City, that's tough. We're going to order you to build that, in this particular case, TDK. And so my concern is not with TDK, but with the process. That one community plans, thinks ahead, another community says, well, we're just going to go with it, and we're going to roll the dice, and then the state comes in and puts one city at a disadvantage, and that's my question to you.
Well, let me address that before. It's not the ARC. It's not them. It's Greta. Yeah, it's a different organization, and they're not here to defend themselves. So, good question. And that's what the lawsuit's about. It's more or less home rule. Do they have the authority to impose requirements on us where we have no authority to say no? And that's what that lawsuit's all about. ARC, they're more on our side. They haven't committed that publicly, but I think they kind of like what we're doing. And I don't know how the lawsuit's going to go. I feel confident in our position on that, but I think we'll find out. And some of those questions may be answered. And the hearing date is July 6th. So after the judge hears it, I would say we got a good shot at getting an answer within 30 days, but it's Fulton County Court, so who knows. We're going to go. I'll take one or two. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I just want you to know we didn't take it as a crapshoot. We had a comprehensive plan. We also, on this development, we put 40 stipulations on it. We also are limiting the number of homes he can build over each year, over a 15-year period. We didn't have infrastructure. When Peachtree City started, they didn't have the infrastructure outside to support it either. And we've tried to learn from y'all. And another thing we're doing, we got impact fees that will support the transportation, which are pretty high. Another thing we're doing is we put in, like, for example, 1,000 homes per year that he can build in a certain number of homes. Also, if that doesn't meet the impact fees, doesn't meet the expenses, we have got a clause in it that a special option sales tax will apply to that community. We have done a lot of planning. We hired JJ&G. We just didn't pick it out. We're trying to plan too. So give us some credit too. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And I would echo everything about you here in McIntosh Village and that development is not as bad as it's sometimes portrayed in our press, but no, it's they have done a. I'm in trouble now. I knew I couldn't get by the night without getting in trouble with the press. Okay, I was going to shut it down at 9:30. I got one gentleman with his hand raised up back here. Let me get that question. This lady, I'm going to take two more questions, then we're going to call it night. This gentleman and then this lady.
I'm not trying to pick on Reed County, but first of all, great presentations tonight. I really learned a lot from everybody that presented. But Mr. Edwards, I heard you say in your presentation that TDK would relieve congestion. And I like to use the phrase, I was born on Sunday, which I was, but it wasn't last Sunday. And I would like you to, or somebody from Tweedy County, to tell me with the other statements that were made around that about the long time between now and when funds are available for highways, and how 74 is going to be very large on the south end, but there's no money to expand it on, and no one could even answer the question, when's it going to expand on the north end, where like 90% of people talked about travel every day into Atlanta, like myself. How can you justify that statement that that would relieve congestion? If you can, I'd love to hear it.
Okay. I think the commissioner would rather address that than one of their staff members. So
it's a simple answer there for you. It's Coweta County on the east side is going to continue to grow. We plan for that growth through careful planning over the last half year, trying to be very methodical in our planning here. Looking, our density is lower than most all metro counties. We're going to grow at a slow rate, but it's going to continue to grow. If PDK is not built, there's going to be two avenues to get on 74. That is 54 and then Rockaway Road. If PDK is built, there'll be three. It'll relieve the choke points, as Tabor said, on 54 and Rockaway Road. The growth is going to come. Do you want it on Rockaway and 54, or do you want it to be dispersed among three avenues?
yeah.
Your question was how traffic is relieved on the choke points of 54.
If you travel the roads that we travel every day, you know that the congestion gets worse the further north you get up 74. You don't relieve congestion by adding more traffic to it at the bottom end of it. It just doesn't make sense.
Well,
That's my point. Is that comment was made and it was incorrect. You cannot relieve congestion by adding more traffic to a situation.
okay. Your point is well made, and yes, it does not relieve congestion going north on 74, and I agree with your statements wholeheartedly. The development in Coweta County is, like you said, growth is coming. And this is what this is about. How are we going to all work together to solve these problems? One more question, and we're going to call it a night.
There are a lot of roads that have been in very good condition that have been repaved for no apparent reason, not just in this county, but in some of the other counties I travel in, and everything from residential roads to state highways to sections of the interstate. And that's hard to understand in light of the shortage of funding for building new roads, why roads that are in good shape are being repaved.
Can you give me an example? I cannot.
Yes, Highway 54 right through Peachtree City was repaved recently. You know, it looked nicer, but it didn't improve the function any.
Well,
and McDonough Road between Highway 54 and 1941 was paved and torn up and patched. The patches made it worse than it ever was, and then they were torn up and then it was repaved. I don't understand that.
It's, and I'm trying to think, make sure I say it right. It's the same thing in terms of you spend a little bit of money now at frequent intervals, or you spend a whole lot of money if you let the maintenance go. What occurred in terms of 54, I think, was a little over a year ago. What the state did was they came in and they put, in essence, they replaced the wear surface, the top 1 inch on the roads. They overlaid it, and in my mind, that's a good decision, because what they're doing is they're making sure that top wear layer it takes all the wear and tear unless without getting down and doing damage to the in essence the structure of the road, which is the base courses. So that if you let the roads go and you don't do those type of projects, then you're going to spend a lot of money. Within Peachtree City specifically, what we do is we go out and every couple of years we do a rating on all of our streets. And that's how we make the determination in terms of what streets that we're going to do the resurfacing on, based on how the ratings are. With the streets with the lowest ratings are the ones that we go out and resurface.